जय राधा माधव हरि Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय श्री श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री श्री गौर निताई की, श्री श्री पद्मावती वेंकटेश्वर बालाजी की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की, समावेत गौर भक्तवृंद की, कलयुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमावों विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। नप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama-shloke bhaktir-bhavati naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Welcome all of you for the Srimad Bhagavatam class at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Chandra. We are reciting from the 7th canto, 5th chapter, text number 18. Is that? Yeah. इति तं विविधोपायैर् भीषयं स्तर्जनादिभिः प्रह्लादं ग्राहयामास त्रिवर्गस्योपपादनम् इति तं विविधोपायैर् भीषयं स्तर्जनादिभिः प्रह्लादं ग्राहयामास त्रिवर्गस्योपपादनम्. All Prabhujis together, recite, please. Iti tam vividopayait bhishayam starjanadibihi prahladam grahayamasa trivargasyopapadanam. All Matajis together. Iti, in this way, tam, him, Prahlad Maharaj, Vivida Upayaihi, by various means, Bhishayan, threatening, Tarjana Adibihi, by chastisement, threats, etc. Prahladam, unto Prahlad Maharaj, Grahayamasa, taught, Trivargasya, the three goals of life, the paths of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. Upapadanam, scripture that presents. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. Who has a mic with you? One of you? Who has a mic here? Another mic? Can read it? Read the translation, please.
Hare Krishna. Sanad and Amarka, the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj, chastised and threatened their disciple in various ways, and began teaching him about the path of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. This is the way they educate him.
Yeah. So Shanda and Amarka, who were the Gurukul teachers, appointed by Hiranyakashipu, they treated Prahlad in different ways. Earlier they told him, Prahlad, if you can tell us the truth, from whom you learned all this Vishnu Bhakti and everything, if you say, then we'll give you some sweets. So they very sweetly spoke to him. When Prahlad was not responding, then now they threatened him now. Right? Are you going to say or not? No, they're going to beat you up. They threatened him. So they resorted to various ways, some or other, to get the truth out. Tarjanadibihi. They said, we will not beat you up. Tell the persons who are coming into the ashram and teaching you all these things, we will beat that person up. So you don't have to be afraid. We are showing you the stick, but beating is not for you. Beating will be done to another fellow. So you can be free to tell us the truth. And also, Hiranyakashipu had told the teachers, all the Vaishnavas like Narada and others, in case they have been visiting ashram just to see our boys, now you put a ban on them. Let them not come. Because Although Narada is our friend also, because Narada is friend of everybody. Dhira, Dhira. He talks to Hiranyakashipu also, he talks to Kamsa also, he talks to devotees also. Narada is such a smart preacher. He has no enemies. He is Ajata Shatru. So Hiranyakashipu welcomed Narada to sit with him in the Sabha and talk to him. He has no problem with Narada. But he has problem in Narada going to his son's Gurukul. Because he is afraid that he will teach him Krishna consciousness. That is his fear. So he is telling, he may not directly tell Narada, hey, don't come here. He will not say that. But he is telling Shantamaraga, don't allow Narada. Decently he told, don't allow him because if he comes, my son will become like Narada, following in his footsteps. Now, the purport purpose is, in this verse, the words prahradam grahayam asa are important. The words grahayam asa literally mean that they tried to induce Prahlad Maharaj to accept the path of dharma, artha, kama, religion, economic development, and sense gratification. People are generally preoccupied with these three concerns without interest in the path of liberation, which is the fourth one is moksha. Most of the world is absorbed in dharma, artha, kama, which means they are agreeing to be pious and religious, but only to accumulate wealth and enjoyment. And they want to get money. With money, they want to enjoy life. But they want to enjoy in a pious way. They want to make this material world a little more better place. They want to somehow adjust with the difficulties of this material world and stick on to the material world and go on. Most people. Prabhupada says Durga is an appointed agent of the material world who reminds the living entities that this is not your home. This is a alien yoke. This is a foreign place for the soul. The soul's home is spiritual world. So she reminds them in various ways. Like right now, I heard in Pune the temperature is 11 degrees centigrade. Now I am going to America in the first week of January. There I heard it is minus 25 degrees centigrade in Boston and those areas. So these temperatures, extreme temperatures, everywhere you find icy atmosphere. But do you think people say that, oh, because it is so cold, better we go back to Godhead? People say, no problem, we will make some adjustment. So in America, they put some chemicals on the road and they clean up the ice so that cars can go. Otherwise, the cars will skid and get accidents because ice gets frozen. So, but in the side of the road, you will find everywhere it is like whitewashed. Everywhere it is snow, everywhere, snow dropping continuously. It's extreme condition. You feel, am I living in Arctic Antarctica? You feel like that. All around. We went for one youth camp last time. So 3-day camp, we never came out because of the ice thing. Everywhere inside. Third day, we couldn't open the door because ice covered up to the window. Half the window was in ice. We had to request other people outside to beat up the ice and open. When we opened the door, come out, the car was completely covered with snow. Top to bottom, everywhere. We thought somebody had stolen the car. Later on, we saw around the car there's a mountain. Mountain of snow. So, you can see, we just couldn't move the car at all after that. We tried to break the ice, then we had to call for an outside cab and then we returned back. And after the sun rose, after 2-3 days, the car was taken out, extracted out of the snow. So, life can be very, extreme cold. Similarly, extreme heat also in this world. So Prabhupada says, Durga in this world is showing extreme heat, extreme cold to remind us that, see, are you happy in this situation? You say no, go back to Godhead. That's what she is showing these things. But the living entities don't take any clue. Even after seeing the difficult situations. Just like if you are in a jail, mosquitoes are biting, you say, are you happy in the jail? No. Then you have to get out of the jail, isn't it? Become a gentleman and get out of the jail. But somebody says, why don't you give me a mosquito net? I can continue to stay in the jail. Or if it is very cold, why don't you give me a nice thick blanket? I don't mind adjusting inside the jail. So one thinks like that. So the tendency for adjusting and making material life a little more better. One company, Philips company's motto is, let's make things better. That is their motto. But Vedas say, let us make living entities better. Which is important to make it better. Let us make things better or people better. Because in our school days, I have seen the weighing machine was like a huge machine, like a big suitcase, huge, this much thick. You have to stand on the top of that. But I have been observing the weighing machine size has been reducing. Now they have a very sleek weighing machine, only this much thin. In fact, people are carrying it in suitcase now, especially those who are suffering from obesity. They want to time check their weight. So the machine has become better, but people's cross section is increasing. So is man becoming better or machine becoming better? So which is important? So Shastra say, let us make the quality of human beings' life better. Instead of making the comforts and luxuries and machines better. Because if you make them better and you remain stuck in the midst of them, we are never going to lead a truly happy life. So don't try to make the material world better. Foolishness it is to remain stuck in the material world, and that's what is Prahlad is preaching. Prahlad had detachment and his father had attachment. And Prahlad was wise, his father was ignorant. And Prahlad was Krishna conscious and his father was stupid in Maya. So the Bhagavatam takes these two extreme characters and puts in front of us, dear friend, what do you want to be? You want to be like Prahlad or you want to be like Hiranyakashipu? So people like Hiranyakashipu, there are many Nastic or atheistic people. They simply take all the commodities of the world and enjoy and die like cats and dogs, not knowing where are they going. But even those who claim to be religious and pious, we are very dharmic. Okay, dharma for what? For artha and kama. So artha means Hiranya, kama means Kashipu. So artha and kama means Hiranya, Kashipu. Bhoga and Aishwarya, correct, no? Bhoga means sex life and Aishwarya means wealth. So nowadays you can see that the wealth and enjoyment has become the goal of life of most people, even in modern times. People are putting even wealth over health. They're putting work over relationships. We can see it in corporate life now. Money making has become such a very big goal. Money has become everything for people. People don't know what is day, what is night. People are working day and night in multiple shifts, and they're ready to fly to any country, anywhere. People have family in one place and their work in another place. And people are slogging late nights to wealth has become so important. And then later on, suddenly they wake up seeing themselves at the edge of a burnout. Yeah, in the same manner, the relationships take a backseat when people's work turns them into a workaholic. You can see that the greed for the money and enjoyment, out of the two, the greed for money has become more than greed for enjoyment also, because people earn money to enjoy, but they have no time to enjoy also. Now, you ask a man, hey, you're working so hard, when are you going to enjoy? Oh, now I am saving money, then I will enjoy. When he gets old, he spends all the money earned in health later on. Where is enjoyment? So, in this way, we can see that the dharma people do for artha and kama. On the opposite side, he says that, without interest in the path of liberation. Why we have to work for liberation? Because if the soul is liberated from matter, it's like releasing a bird from a cage and letting the bird fly in the free sky. So any bird will be happy to fly in the free sky and live peacefully in the nest. No bird would like to be put in a cage and locked up, with no freedom at all. Similarly, we all are locked up in this bodily cage. Not only we are restricted the freedom, within this bodily cage, we are enduring so many sufferings. We don't like to get diseases. Like the last 3-4 days, I have a back pain. Some hip. You slightly turn. It's very severe pain. Yeah. So this takes away your normal functioning, isn't it? You cannot just jump and dance and run here and there the way you want. It restricts you. So diseases restrict your normal function, correct or not? Is it not true? Somebody has a back problem, somebody has a stomach problem, somebody has a headache, somebody has a leg problem. Anybody at any given time, everybody has some problem or the other, correct or not? Isn't it? Some complication in the body. Some are small, some are big. Yeah. So when you are put in this bodily cage, without your wanting, there are pains, sufferings. Without our wanting, there is eventually growing, body growing older and older. The old age, there are innumerable diseases come into the body. When one crosses 70, 80, all complications. And without one's wanting, who wants an unhealthy body? Everybody would like to be young and healthy. But this is the nature of this material body. That's why one should quit the material body. And similarly, the death appears like end of everything. It creates a lot of fear in the minds of the conditioned soul. Although death is simply like sleeping in the bed at night and waking up in the morning. Death means what? You sleep in one body and wake up in another body. Like imagine devotees can sleep in this body. When they wake up, suddenly you find yourself having a Vaikuntha body in the spiritual world, isn't it? And other fellows, those who didn't do Krishna consciousness, you sleep in a human body, wake up in a dog's body. You find out, my Lord, look at my face, I have a dog's body now. Isn't it? So we get another body. Basically, death is like a long sleep. And then you get up in another body. So in this way, it's like taken from one cage, apparently released and put back in another cage. Then taken from a second cage and put in third cage. So any intelligent person will ask, why am I repeatedly being put in the cage? Why can't I be set free in the free sky? Yes, for that you have to do some homework. The first homework is cultivate detachment from material enjoyment. That is why you will find the Karma Yoga, for example. The path of Karma Yoga means Yajñartat Karmanaha Anyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. So the goal of Karma Yoga is freedom from Karma Bandhan. That means entanglement in this material world. So our Shastras are so mature and oceanic. They give multiple procedures by which one can gradually come to the detachment. For example, a commoner living in the society, if he has to cultivate detachment, one of the first things is you should start giving charity. Somebody may give charity to a beggar, or charity to some orphanage. Somebody may give charity to the poor, needy, and sick. They start giving. At least the selfishness is stopped, and you start giving away from what you have. But this has no connection to God directly. But the Vedas also say that at least you don't hold on to it. If extra money is in your pocket, you are going to do sense gratification. Correct, no? So what you will do, sense gratification, that money you give it away in charity. But that's only called as Nishkama Karma. But if you do it for Krishna, it's called Karma Yoga. The word yoga comes. Yoga means huge connection to God. In connection to God. Now you give for the Bhagavad Gita distribution in the schools. We are going and distributing Bhagavad Gitas to poor children who cannot afford to buy the full Bhagavad Gita for the full cost. So somebody can sponsor 5 Gitas or 50 Gitas or 100 Gitas as per one's capacity. So then it becomes yoga. You are taking a portion of your earning and doing some service in line with Krishna. Although you may not be chanting Hare Krishna, you may not be regularly coming to temple, you come once in a blue moon, but at least you are offering a portion of your fruits. So it becomes karma yoga. You worked with your hands and legs and then you earn some money and you gave a portion of it, to Lord service. So you develop what is the fruit of this? Detachment. You develop detachment from material enjoyment. Now what is when we say detachment appears to be like a very abstract word, but it can be tangibly explained. You see, how many of you have personally experienced attachment causing pain in the mind? You have experienced, correct, no? Yeah. It can be attachment to like parents' attachment to a son who is not following them. They can tell you stories about it, hours and hours. A man's attachment to a woman or a woman's attachment for a man who is like there is one-sided love. You have seen that. One person is loving, other person is going away. How much pain it can cause? Is it not true? You can see that. Similarly, you are expecting some result and that result didn't come. How much pain it causes? Pain only comes if there is attachment. If there is pus in the hand, you press it. There is no pus, you press, no problem. Is it not true? Only when there is attachment, there is pain. Therefore, if you want to reduce that attachment, the beginning is start giving charity. This is the beginning step. And then once you're giving charity, then you get little purified. Then you will be ready to do some tapas. For example, upavas on Ekadashi day, you eat only grains. Only not grains. Only grains you eat? No, everybody's being quiet. You don't eat grains. What do you eat Ekadashi day? Non-grains. So you agree. So one man asked me on phone, Swamiji, why it is kept like this? I find it difficult. My wife says I should not eat any grains on Ekadashi day. She cooks something else. So some people find it very difficult to avoid grains even for one day. But if you follow that austerity, tapasya, you get purified. You get further purified from attachments. So you are giving dan, you are also doing tapas. Correct, no? Similarly, this is Margashish month, which is Krishna's very favorite month. And the previous month is Kartik month, which is Radharani's favorite month. So in these 2 months of the year, they are golden months of the year, November and December. So during this time, if somebody rises early in the morning, every day you should come to temple. In some temples, there is no place to put one mustard seed also. There is so much crowd. In certain temples in South India, there is a very big crowd. As if it is like a big festival day. Every day is a festival during these 2 months. Even the Grihasthas, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, children, boys, girls, everybody should come to temple in Kartik month. Every morning they should come. Make sure you come before 4:30 to greet the Lord. Imagine, for example, if Microsoft has called you for an interview at 4:30 in the morning, how many of you will be present at 4:30? 4:30, you'll be at 4 o'clock only will be there. Is it not true? Because if you want to get a job, you are ready to do any tapasya. So in the same manner, you want to greet the Lord, so that is tapasya. In the cold winter now, freezing winter, you take a bath and greet the Lord and then chant with devotees. Exactly what happens is, when you come to the temple, because you think that it is Markshish month, I should come in the morning, then you get habituated to waking up early. Then even in other months in home also you will wake up early and chant and you will taste the sweetness of the Brahma Muhurta. So in this way, tapasya also gives us detachment. So dan gives detachment, tapasya gives detachment. And then you eventually you start understanding the importance of yajna. Yajna actually means that which is action done for the pleasure of Vishnu. Correct, no? In this way. And actually, when people do yajnas, offering, grains and, the silk and the ghee, everything in sacrificial fire, and the Vedic mantras are chanted. The yajna kund is called mouth of Vishnu, and the sacrificial fire is tongue of Vishnu. So when people offer these things in that, it straight away goes to Lord Vishnu and produces, Vishnu gets tushti and you get anasakti, detachment. You develop. That means your material attachments reduces by that. And with the chanting of the Vedic mantras. So the chanting of the mantra along with the performance of yajna reaches all those ingredients to Lord Vishnu. Because they all come from Vishnu and they're giving it back to Vishnu. Then yajna dana tapa. These things are done in the path of, yajna dana tapa shaiva pavanani manishinam, Krishna says. So as the detachment increases more and more, now great kings like Janaka Maharaj, how they developed detachment, Nishkama Karma Yoga. For example, he is doing his king's service as a Lord's representative. He has no interest to exploit anyone. He has no interest to enjoy the royal delights. He has no dominating tendency, bossing tendency. He thinks the kingdom belongs to Lord, and all the praja are Lord's children, and Lord has appointed me as a coordinator, and I will facilitate the jivas to purify their heart and go back to God. That's my duty. So the king just acts like a facilitator or a class representative. That's all. He doesn't have any personal agenda or any kind of attachments. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga. And such a king also performs yajna and everything for the welfare of the praja. and he provides them protection from thieves and rogues and everybody. He administrates them with the strict law and order. Everybody abides by the Supreme Lord's teachings. And he arranges for the welfare of food, clothing, shelter, water, sanitation, health, education, everything. Such a king is most loved by the Praja because the king is a transparent via media to the Lord. The king has no personal agendas. If any of us can act like that, like imagine there's a glass, between you and the other side, then you can see the other side through that person. But people like Hiranyakashipu are diametrically opposite. They become completely opaque. Opaque king means he wants all the worship for himself. He wants to lord over the people and boss over the people. He tortures the people saying, you chant my name only. Isn't it? He doesn't, he abuses people. So he, far from performing yajna, dana, tapa, he wants everything to be done for him. So in this way, the mass of people suffer from, the most important action of purifying the heart. They suffer because of not aligned with the Lord's plan for the jivas, isn't it? So in this way, when a karma yogi performs his duties properly, then you will find the fruit of karma yoga is jnana. And what is that jnana? Jnana means ability to discriminate between matter and spirit. Right now, how many of you feel we have heard the philosophy that I am not the body, I am the soul, but still it doesn't properly manifest in our intelligence. We know it, we have heard it, but we forget it, correct? No? That's because of mental attachments. That's because of, yeah. That means the more we are able to cultivate detachment, so what is the proof that we have developed detachment? Say, for example, there is a favorite item being served. Say, like I am from South India, say dosa and sambar and chutney, idlis, they are being served. Smell is also coming. So I am sitting there, but the doctor has told me that you should not touch oily items. So I should know that I have to refrain from it. In the beginning, I have a strong attraction for it, but I refrain because I am told not to eat it. Doctor has told I will get more sick, so I will not eat it, correct? No? So the detachment always begins like that only, gradually. And then in the same manner, there are many things for the four regulatory principles we follow. Voluntarily, happily following that doesn't happen at the beginning. Initially, there is a tendency for them, raso varjam, rasopyasya, he says. And then param drishtva, till we see param drishtva, higher taste. Till then, it is a struggle in giving up the lower nature, detachment. But doing these things, like I told you, so if you are getting purification, then the detachment will come very smoothly, very easily, and you will be able to say no to the unwanted things which are detrimental to the progress of the soul. You can say no to them. You happily become detached from them. And then you also can clearly see that, like a coconut, if it is put in water, a big green coconut, after 3 months, or 2 or 3 months, it becomes withdrawn inside. So there is a copra inside and then coconut outside. There's a difference between the two. The copra is eatable and then the outside shell is put in fire, isn't it? Similarly, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am spirit soul. I am aloof from the body and mind. He says, Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tat pavet pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran ashnan gachan swapan shvasan indriyani indriyarteshu vartanta iti dharayan. He says, Naiva kinchit karomi iti yukto manyeta tat pavet. You become a tattvavet, clearly understanding that I am not the doer, I am only the desirer. And the super soul is ordering the agency of the Durga to use the 3 modes to activate whatever I am desiring. So you can clearly see Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sprishan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shvasan, all these things, our eating, moving, walking, going, coming, seeing, all these actions with my body are made possible by the material agency ordered by the super soul. You can see yourself aloof from all the actions. And like for example, somebody has purchased a new car. Anything new, you get very much attached also. Correct, no? It's my car. Means aham car. Huh? I identify with my car. Correct, no? Yeah. Mm. So you kept the car outside the shopping mall to purchase something. You come back and some boys have thrown a karak ball and broke the glass. How much you will be pained? Huh? Today is the first day I'm using the car. It's my happy birthday. I'm driving the car and coming to a shop. Somebody broke the glass. Huh? You will be shattered. People will even cry tears. Huh? Two things simultaneously happen. One thing is you are weeping, crying, panting, coming down the steps, breathing heavily because of the attachment. Simultaneously, you develop hatred towards the boys who broke the glass and you want to beat them up. You come down, you're chasing after them, and the boys are running away. You want to beat them up. So you develop attachment and hatred simultaneously. Attachment to one thing and hatred for another thing. You will see that. And then you find yours is a brown car and there's another brown car and two cars are standing next to each other, and it so happened that your car is safe, somebody else's car is broken. Then what will be the result of that? You will have a big smile on your face. Thank God, now I checked the number of the car. Thank God, somebody else's car is broken. My car is safe. You again become happy. So in this way, you will see you're going between happiness to suffering and happiness to suffering. We are being tossed in the middle of an ocean of samsara like this. And I'm just telling one incident now. As many attachments I have, that many times I'll be tossed. Will you be happy? Like a football gets kicked by somebody's foot, only to fly for a while to be kicked by another foot. Huh? You know, again he's kicked. Kicked. Like that, we are all being tossed in this world due to attachments and aversions. So one who can see the sufferings sufferings involved in being tossed in this world, only that person will at least develop a desire to cultivate detachment. Otherwise, there is another stage where one doesn't even know that I'm suffering. के आमे केने अमाय यारे तापत्रोय यह नहीं जानी शूद्र के न नोय ग्राम्य व्यवहारे कहे पंडित यह सत्य मानी अपना हित हित किचु नहीं जानी. He's saying, or Sanatana Goswami is saying, Ke ami, kene amai. He's saying, who am I? Why am I? Yare tapatrai. These threefold miseries are battering me like a football. In this world, I am seeing, my body is causing diseases, mind is causing depression, and other living entities are also pricking and causing problem to both my body and mind. Somebody may beat me or somebody may insult me. And also the material nature is bringing forth extreme cold and extreme heat. And what is happening? I want to be happy, but I see that there are so many sufferings all around me. So am I supposed to just cry and just remain in this world? Or is there a solution to get out of it? So one who is intelligent, like Sanatana Goswami, he says that I want to find out a way to get out of it. I want to find out. So the intelligent devotee, intelligent living entity will ask a question. First thing, your ability to see that I'm suffering and how to make a solution to the suffering. That's a symptom of a human being. Otherwise, we just move around like we say, Pashu Buddhi means, I earned so much money, you earned, and I'm fighting with other living entities. I will make more money, I will beat you. So people are living simply competing with one another like foolish animals, not knowing how to rise above this world and live a life for a higher purpose of going back to Godhead. So in this way, when you understand that my attachments and aversions are causing me a problem, then you will desire detachment. And then when you do yajna, dana, tapa, all these things are said, then one gets purified in Nishkama Karma Yoga, and then comes to the stage of jnana, where one can clearly see that I am not the body, I am spirit soul. And I should now work for the interest of the soul, not just work for the interest of the body alone. Body is simply like a dress over the soul. Dress is not less important, but at the same time, dress is not everything. You wash the dress and you keep the dress well, it's all right. Like Prabhupada gives the example of a car. In the morning when you get up, you wash the car, you put water in the radiator, you put air in the tire, you repair the car and keep it very fine, nice. And also, uh, once you board the car, then you don't think about the car anymore. You think about the business, what you have to do with the car. Similarly, our body, morning you brush your teeth, you take your bath, you dress up yourself, you put food in the mouth. Then once the body is prepared now, ready now, think about the Lord. I am not this body, I am different from the body. And how do I go back to Godhead? What do I do? How can I do some seva? How I can do some sadhana? How I can do some swadhyaya? Study of the scriptures. Let me do render some service. Let me do some japa, sadhana. Let me go to the temple and take darshan. And in this way, we should worry about liberating the soul from the body. Any intelligent person. Otherwise, people are spending so much time for the body. His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj came to Hyderabad recently. I was attending his program in Attapur. He was telling a joke. He said, nowadays people are paying so much attention to body. He said, some of the boys are having such a hairstyle. He said, it looks like a cake over their head. Looks like one Mayapur cake over their head, he was telling. He said, what do you call that style? You call it? Disco style, I think. He said, what kind of hairstyle is this? He was asking. So you can literally, Mayapur round cake comes. Imagine if I keep it over my head, how will I look? So like that he looks, he was selling. So all kinds of styles. The people are paying so much attention to their mustaches and their French beards and their hairstyles and their dress style. People are jeans conscious and belt conscious and hairstyle conscious, watch conscious, shoe conscious, except Krishna conscious. Isn't it? So, in this way, we are not supposed to be car conscious. We are supposed to be conscious that I am a driver, different from the car, and do the business of where you are supposed to go. Car is supposed to be used to attain the goal. Similarly, body is supposed to be utilized to go back to Godhead. It is actually the best to make the best out of bad bargain, we say, no? Is to utilize the body. Although this body is perishable body, still it can help us to reach the shores of the samsara sagara. One can shariram kalu dharma sadhanam. It can be used as a dharma sadhan. One should develop detachment and come to the point of understanding jnana. And once the jnana awakens, I am not the body, I am the soul. Then what does a jnani do? Prabhupada says jnani thinks repeatedly. Neti, neti, neti. I am not this body, I am not this mind. It's called as nitya anitya vastu vivekam. You should have the viveka buddhi to know the difference between nitya and anitya. What is nitya, what is anitya? And one should become free from the moha. What is moha? Moha means considering impure things to be pure, pure things to be impure. That is called as moha. For example, there are divine activities, coming to the temple, taking darshan of the Lord. When you tell people, they don't come. Instead of making the Lord the hero of their lives, they're making some cinema actor the hero of their lives. Actor or actress, correct, no? That means attachment to perishable commodities, that is moha. And which is here today, gone tomorrow. That is moha. But attachment to the eternal, imperishable, everlasting things, that means you are free from moha. You have... so moha, everybody knows what is moha. For example, like the red apple in the market, reddish apple. And there is a yellow, green mixed apple. Which one people generally buy? Reddish apple. Go home and eat it. Chava, 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 no taste. Because it is a hybrid apple. All the hybrid things are very attractive. And the other apple is simple apple. That apple is produced without any fertilizer, without any... That's a natural apple and people don't buy, which is truly healthy. Correct, no? Similarly, if a man is attracted to a low-class society woman, if he's attracted, she may be very beautiful, but she has no character. She can roam with dozens of men, but she looks very beautiful. Correct, no? On the other hand, if a man has a wife who is a gunavati, who is chaste to him, who may not be very beautiful. Correct, no? So moha means he's leaving his good chaste wife like Ajamila and running after a prostitute. Correct, no? That is due to moha. Yeah, that is due to moha. So moha also causes pain. Moha is also one form of attachment. Correct, no? Like for example, you are not married, you are a young boy or you are a young girl, you can feel attachment to opposite sex, but one has to restrain that attachment. Krishna says one should put a restriction. Even if the attachment arises in the mind, one should divert the attention from there to the Supreme Lord. Okay, if you don't restrict that attachment, it is going to cause you more and more pain. Because like one boy, a young boy, I was telling him, he's just 17, 18 years old. He's feeling a lot of lusty attraction for somebody. I told, get married. He said, Prabhuji, my parents will marry me only at 28. He said, that is correct only. So when on 18 to 28, you focus on academics and focus on spiritual life and develop a higher taste. But then he's asking, but what about the lower taste? That you don't worry about. You increase your higher taste. Correct, no? Till 28, what to do? Till 28, do more and more serious Krishna consciousness. Baby devotees grow. Then therefore one has to have the culture of restraining the material attachments. So you cannot just restrain the material attachments on your own. Two things you need. One is you need diversion from the false, foolish material attachments and moha. You need diversion to something higher activities. Like we have chanting, dancing, darshan of the deities, taking prasad with devotees, going for your retreat camps, things like that, studying the shastra. Everything is given by the Lord. For your intelligence, shastras are given. For the mind, there is music, kirtan, dance, and everything. For your tongue, there is prasad. Correct? And our mind also needs emotional support. Then you have friends amongst your own group of other boys. You have connection with the other boys also. So you sit in a circle and do some activities together. And also there is and for purifying our heart, there is service. Go and distribute books. There are so many activities are there in our movement. So in this way, similarly for the girls, there is they can make garlands, they can make ornaments, they can stitch outfits for the deities, and they can cook. Prabhuji's, Mataji's, unlimited service Prabhupada has given us. So absorb yourself in varieties of services and forget the material attachments and rise above them. In this way, Prabhupada says acting as Brahman is very, very important. Like Jnanis only say, Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit soul, I am spirit soul. And when Menaka comes, they are gone. Who was that? Vishwamitra. I am spirit soul, and Menaka came and twinkled. And he heard the twinkling of the ankle bell. Immediately he fell prey to her. And later on he was lamenting. When Menaka brought the child, Shakuntala, my dear Lord, you gave me a baby. He was saying like this, don't come here. There is one picture. How many have you seen that picture? Vishwamitra showing hand like this. See, he wanted to enjoy Menaka, but when she brought the baby, that he doesn't want. So the living entity wants enjoyment, but not the consequence of that enjoyment. Now he has to raise the child. He says, oh, I have wasted my time with you, get lost. Then she, later on, Kadma Muni took the child and raised Shakuntala, and then she was married to Dushyanta later on. Correct, no? But the point is, because Vishwamitra did not have higher engagement. Prabhupada says, after you pass out of a college, you have done computer science, you go to Infosys company, sit down there and say, I am computer engineer, I am computer engineer. All right, do something. Your boss will catch you. What is this? I agree you are engineer, but do something, sir. Isn't it? So Prabhupada says, Jnani is simply saying, Aham Brahmasmi, but devotees act on the platform of Brahman. So by acting as Brahman, you identify more with Krishna and less with Maya. Like for example, all of you are wearing dhoti, kurta, tilak. So how many of you had experienced first time you wore dhoti and looked at yourself in front of the mirror, you felt I am a devotee. Well, correct, no? Correct, isn't it? Because the externals also affect our internals. On the other hand, you wear tight jeans and Reebok shoes and stonewashed shirt, and you have a disco hairstyle with a cooling glass, sit in an Enfield bike. How many of you feel it is difficult to feel I am a devotee? So externals make difference. Correct, no? What about dress you wear? On the other hand, you have a short haircut. You have HareKrishna cut. And you have a tilak. And you are wearing dhoti, kurta. And you come to the temple, you bow down, you look at each other, you are reminded of Krishna. So in this way, you will see that, the activities you engage in, Krishna consciousness movement, they can help you forget Maya and remember Krishna. Always remember Krishna, never forget him. That's possible. Therefore, we should take part in the activities in ISKCON society to increase our attachment to Krishna and reduce our attachment to Maya. In this way, the more the spiritual absorption we get, initially absorption won't come. Initially, the activities come very externally. Huh? Then gradually they sink into our mind and hearts. The more then you start identifying yourself as a Krishna Das, Bhakta Das, Hari Das, Guru Das. Similarly, Krishna Dasi, Guru Dasi, like that one thinks I am a servant of the Hari Guru and Vaishnava. So more that identification comes in you. What do you think who you are? Repeat. What do you think? Ask this question always. What do you think means? Who are you? I am Krishna Das. What do you do? I do Krishnarthe Akila Cheshta. I do only everything for Krishna only. How could you do all these things? By Krishna's and Guru's grace. What will you do with the fruits? I'll offer it all to the Lord. Then you are rightly situated. In this way, you get purified very fast by this kind of consciousness. And then we progress, make very, very fast progress in detachment. So let us finish this one. The word Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu refers to soft cushions and bedding on which people enjoy sense gratification. Prabhupada very decently saying, soft cushions and bedding on which people enjoy sense gratification means to understand what he says. The word Prahlad, however, refers to one who is always joyful and understanding Brahman. Prahlad! It comes from Hladini, correct? No? Hladini is Srimati Radharani. So Prahlad means one who has taken shelter of Hladini potency. Correct, no? In understanding Brahman, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma. Prahlad means Prasannatma, always joyful. Prahlad was always joyful in worshipping the Lord, but in accordance with the instructions of Hiranyakashipu, the teachers were interested in teaching him about material things. Materialistic persons think that the path of religion is meant for improving their material conditions. The materialist goes to a temple to worship many varieties of demigods just to achieve some benediction to improve his material life. He goes to a sadhu or so-called swami to take advantage of an easy method for achieving material opulence. In the name of religion, the so-called sadhus try to satisfy the senses of the materialists by showing them shortcuts to material opulence. Sometimes they give some talisman, dayat, something they tie in the hand or something, or a blessing. Sometimes they attract materialistic persons by producing gold. Then they declare themselves God, and the foolish materialists are attracted to them for economic development. As a result of this process of cheating, others are reluctant to accept a religious process, and instead they advise people in general to work for material advancement. That's another problem. Like there are some sincere souls, when they see that all the sadhus are cheating, they say all sadhus are bogus, better you get into work and work hard. This one gentleman came to India from the West. He came in search of truth. And then everybody told him that you should go to Varanasi. There are Buddhists in Varanasi. And then they said there is a Guruji up in the mountain. So he climbed up the mountain, went and met one Buddhist Guru in the top. And he stayed in the Matha also for some days. But the Buddhist Guru, what do you think he would have taught? The Buddhist Guru taught him silence. He had to sit silently and eat less. Eat only 1 carrot a day. So he remained for a few days there, and he didn't find it very interesting. And there was no more knowledge beyond that, only austerities. Then he got down the mountain and went to America and he became an entrepreneur. And eventually he started the Apple industry, and he is Steve Jobs. He became Steve Jobs over a period of time. But then a good thing happened to Steve Jobs. In America, he started going to ISKCON temple for taking Khichdi, Prasad. Even today, he gratefully remembers. And he found ISKCON devotees chanting, dancing, worshipping, a very colorful movement. They have literature to study, they have activities to do. He appreciated. Then he broadened his perspective of spirituality later. So now, why did Steve Jobs go back to job? Because he didn't find anything interesting in spiritual life. If spiritual life is enlivening, why would one leave that and go for anything else in this world? Is it not true? So that is why when people like him, he is a sincere soul, was a seeker, but he didn't get the right person to guide him. Correct, no? So that's what Prabhupada is saying. Sometimes they attract materialist persons by producing gold, they declare themselves God. As a result of this process of cheating, others like Steve Jobs, I told you, they are reluctant to accept the religious process. And instead they advise people in general to work for material advancement. This is going on all over the world. Not only Krishna doesn't promote work in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna doesn't promote renunciation in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna promotes spiritualizing our work. He doesn't say work hard like a donkey. He doesn't say that. He doesn't say give up everything, go to Himalayas. He doesn't say that. He says work in a spirit of sacrifice, and that should be performed for the pleasure of God. He says, like you may be working in a factory, earn a lot of money, and give substantial amount of your earning for God's service. Engage that money in God's service. Then you spiritualize your work. He says, and then he says, this is going on all over the world. Not only now, but since time immemorial, no one is interested in moksha, liberation. These are the four principles: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Religion, economic development, and gratification, and liberation. People accept religion to become materially opulent. And why should one be materially opulent? For sense gratification. Thus, people prefer these three margas, the three paths of materialistic life. No one is interested in liberation, and Bhagavad Bhakti, the devotional service to the Lord, is above even liberation. Yeah, liberation, I told you, is only Aham Brahmasmi. But Bhakti is beyond that. You act on the platform of Brahman. Therefore, the process of devotional service, Krishna consciousness, is extremely difficult to understand. This will be explained later by Prahlad Maharaj. The teachers, Shanda and Amarka, try to induce Prahlad Maharaj to accept the materialistic way of life. But actually, their attempt was a failure. Because Prahlad Maharaj understood that materialistic life will make me blind to material attachments, and I will be struggling in the middle of material attachment, getting nowhere. Whereas following the path of great souls like Narada will open my eyes. Jnananjana Shalakaya, correct, no? Omajnana Timirandasya, Jnananjana Shalakaya. My eyes are opened by my spiritual master Narada. So he became a wise one, Prahlad, enlightened one, and became free from all material entanglements, including the life of Asura. And he became a Bhakta, very great devotee. And he loved that path, and he became a pure devotee. And Hiranyakashipu was blinded by mental attachment. Just like when the dark clouds are in the sky, you can't see the sun. The mental attachment is like that. When a person is attached to a superficial material body and mind, one cannot understand what is what. One behaves like a foolish person. Sometimes I get so many mails in a day, I reply 50, 60 mails. Many of the boys, similar type of question. Very similar question. They are struggling with mental attachments. Helpless, practically. Helpless means tamaguna. So, and our process, the method given by our acharyas, Vaishnavacharyas, is very simple. Only we should be willing to honestly, sincerely adopt it. Then we can get out of this shell of, in which we are caught up now, entangled now in this material existence. So Prahlad Maharaj is a very good role model for everyone to follow. Cultivate not just detachment and alone, but cultivate attachment to Krishna also through Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. That will come in the future verses. By devotional process, you develop a positive attachment. Our movement is not a nakaratmak movement; it's a sakaratmak movement. It doesn't teach you negating the negative. It is teaching about engaging in the positive. So we don't say just close your eyes, close your ears, close your mouth. We say use your eyes to see Krishna's beauty. Use your ears to hear about Krishna. Use your tongue to glorify Krishna and take prasad. Srila Prabhupada ki, and Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaur Bhaktavinda ki. Thank you very much.